Chapter 4. It's a dragon. Okay, so maybe you'd be totally cool if you found a dragon in your bedroom. Maybe it wouldn't faze you. Maybe you'd be just like, hey, cool, that's a cool dragon. I'm really cool about this. But me, I didn't have a clue what to do, and I definitely wasn't feeling cool about it. I mean, it was a dragon. It might only have been big enough that it could sit on my hand, and so far its fire breathing had only produced a spark. But hello, dragon! It made a strange fizzling match sound again, and the most I could manage to get out at that point was a whispered, "Whoa." And then we stared at each other for a really long time. My head is always brimming with ideas and stories. Miss Logan says my imagination is like a geyser gushing out ideas 24 hours a day. But right then, it was like the geyser had been sat on by one of those enormous elephant seals with the weird shrunken trunks. And all I could squeeze out was, there's a dragon. In my room. On the carpet. Right now. Talk about stating the obvious. Then, bit by bit, the elephant seal flubbered away and the geyser spluttered back to life. I pictured my dragon shooting out mighty flames and me riding across the sky on its back, and I thought, I'm going to have the most utterly mind-blowingly amazing pet of all time. Move over, Liam. I've the best bike, scooter, radio-controlled biplane and obstacle-leaping hamster Swanson, and make room for my dragon. Suddenly the little creature took a flutter hop towards me, and for a second I wondered if it would turn out to be as mean as all the books said and launch itself at my face. Maybe it'd send flames at my eyes or scratch me with its sharp claws. Oh, this could be a really dangerous pet. I'd probably go into school with scars and have to explain how I'd had to wrestle my pet to the ground before I could leave the house. I guess that might not be ideal. Not on a day-to-day basis anyway. I started weighing up the pros and cons, remembering the cuddly class guinea pig, and then comparing it to the ferocious, limb-shredding, fire-breathing reptile. But even with the possible loss of limbs, there didn't really seem much contest. A dragon would make a really cool pet. And the more I watched it, the more I realised that this particular dragon didn't look very mean or dangerous. In fact, as he tilted its head to one side and hiccuped out a little smoke ring, the word that kept popping into my head was cute. I stayed as still as I could. I remembered something about letting dogs sniff your hand before you say hello to them. So when it didn't move again, I slowly reached out my hand, resting it on the carpet just in front of the little creature. Another flutter hop, and there was a dragon sitting on the palm of my hand. An actual live dragon. It kept its wings half unfurled as it swept its head from side to side, inspecting my fingers, which were now warm from its breath. I could feel its claws treading into my skin like a cat trying to get comfy. I didn't dare move in case it disappeared in a puff of "this can't really be happening" smoke. Slowly I got to my feet, keeping my hand as steady as I could. Suddenly, I decided to assume it was a he, started jiggling from foot to foot and leaning forwards and backwards as if he was about to launch, and then pulling back. Like I did on the diving board at the pool, wanting to dive but hating the moment where I'd have to step off into nothing but air. Before I could open my mouth to speak, he'd taken the plunge. For a moment the tiny dragon was flapping upwards, nose thrust forwards. Wings shimmering, and then he blew out a smoky puff and began to drop, and my heart sank. I lurched forward to catch him, but just as he was about to land in my hand, he flapped and rose again, and he was off, soaring away over my bed, still reeling a bit from side to side, but most definitely airborne. I watched as he swooped back round and landed with a bump on my desk. In my relief and excitement, because let's be clear, a dragon had just flown around my bedroom, I clapped my hands and gave a whoop of delight. The little dragon lifted his head. He let out another smoky hiccup, this time followed by a tiny orange spark, and then he hopped towards me. Things I noticed from close up. Glittery wings, scales that rippled through every shade of red, eyes like diamonds, hot smoky breath, sharp claws, 3 at the front, 1 at the back of each foot, arrowhead tail, which he didn't seem able to control very well, because every so often it would whip round and he'd bash himself, and then he'd twist his head round in alarm as if he was being attacked. 2 little horns, 1 longer than the other. Things I did not notice. Tom-Tom.